We can do that too.
Yeah, we can. Can we do them in a block?
We're going to do most of them in a block. All right.
Second.
Record your attendance, please.
You have a quorum, Mr. Chair.
All right, thank you. All right. Luckily, we don't have any patrons here, so we can kill all the bills without any problems. These bills in the first group are identical to Senate bills that have gone through, and we can take them in a block. If anyone in the audience has any concern about it, stand up very, very quickly. House Bill 1828, Orrock. House Bill 2385, Bulliver. House Bill 2632, Helsel. House Bill 2655, Collins. House Bill 2672, Carr. House Bill 2744, Fowler. Is there anyone here in opposition to any of those bills? Yeah, I've got it. That's not in the group. Okay. Hearing none, is there a motion?
Second.
Properly moved and seconded, these bills be reported in a block. Open the roll, please.
Ayes 14, no 0.
Okay. The next one is House Bill 2324, which is identical to Senate bill, but has been requested by Finance for unknown reasons. Motion is to report and re-refer to Finance.
Second.
Properly moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, record your votes. All right.
I don't know why. Ayes 13, noes 1.
Okay. The next group are cemetery bills. They will have to be re-referred to Finance after we take action. They all came out, I think unanimously.
I'm not sure what it is on our end.
House Bill 1973, Hurst. House Bill 2311, Hayes. House Bill 2406, Adams. House Bill 2739. Is there a motion? Is anyone here in opposition to any of those bills? Is there a motion? And re-refer to Finance. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Record your votes.
Ayes 14, no 0.
All right. The next one is also a cemetery bill, but there was an amendment. It was similar to Senate Bill 1128 of Locke's. So, Brooks, who's going to read the amendment?
So on at the beginning of line 44, the engrossed bill, insert Pleasant Shade Cemetery 29.
We're done.
Properly moved and seconded that we make that amendment to make it match Senator Locke's. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none. Record your vote. Okay.
Ayes 14, no 0.
All right. The next group of bills are bills that are similar to Senate bills but somewhat off.
Well, that goes without saying.
We are right, but they're close. The first one is House Bill 1650 of wares. It deals with the lottery and disclosure of the identity of the winners. It is similar to Senator Spruill's Senate Bill 1060. There is a substitute to conform the bill.
Second.
Properly moved and seconded, the substitute be adopted. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. Who's going to report the differences? All right, Brooks? Yes. You want to tell them what the
Okay.
difference is?
So the substitute conforms it to Senator Spruill's bill. The House bill includes a threshold of $10 million. Anyone above that threshold is automatically protected. Anyone below that threshold gets none of the protections. So the substitute will protect anyone who asks for that confidentiality, ask the lottery for that confidentiality. So there's no threshold in the substitute, and it excludes the name from mandatory disclosure, but does not exclude the hometown and the amount won.
Okay. Does everybody understand what the substitute does? Is there a motion? We've already adopted the substitute.
Second.
Properly moved and seconded that House Bill 1650 pass as a substitute. Any further discussion? Hearing none, record your votes.
You have my proxy, Frank?
Oh, I do? Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Do I have any more? Okay,
Ayes 12, noes 3.
all right. The next one up is House Bill 1702 by Gilberts. It is similar to Senator Sutherland's bill. To make them identical, there would be need of one amendment. Brooks, you want to read that amendment?
The amendment is on line 24 of the engrossed bill. Insert 2, that the provisions of this act shall not become effective unless an appropriation effectuating the purposes of this act is included in the General Appropriation Act passed.
Brooks, I'm going to have to ask you to pull that mic closer to you.
Sorry, is that better?
That's better.
Okay. So line 24 of the engrossed bill, insert 2, that the provisions of this act shall not become effective unless an appropriation effectuating the purposes of this act is included in a General Appropriation Act passed in 2019 by the General Assembly that becomes law.
Did everyone hear the amendment? Is there a motion to adopt that amendment?
Second.
Properly moved and seconded that amendment be added to the bill. Is there any further discussion on that? Hearing none. Record your votes. Or did I skip?
We need
I'm
to
sorry. Yes, motion is to adopt the amendment. All in favor say aye. Aye. All right. Now, no further discussion, then record your votes. I'm getting ahead of you again, but okay.
It does go to finance.
All right, strike the vote. Okay. Is there a second? All right, record your votes. All right,
Ayes 14, noes 1.
thank you. The next one is House Bill 1939 by Wiebert. Is for deport and some adjustment of fees. It is similar to Senate Bill 1751 with 3 amendments. Brooks, would you report the amendments?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Line 18, engrossed after revenue, strike exceed and insert exceeds $100,000 or. Second, on line 18 of the engrossed bill, after percent, strike or 100,000. And then 3, line 20 of the engrossed bill, after regulance, strike of the board.
Can we deal with those in a block? Okay. Is there a motion? Okay. Properly moved and seconded, the amendments be adopted in a block. All in favor say aye. Aye. All right, is there any further discussion on that? Hearing none.
Is this now 1751?
Pretty close, but they're going to change mine, so. And in full disclosure, it's probably going to be amended. Mine is going to be amended to put a delayed enactment so that some of the money that's been collected can be used to upgrade their IT, which is woefully behind. So was there a motion to report as amended? Properly moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, record your votes. Thank you.
Ayes 14, noes 1.
All right, thank you. The next bill is House Bill 2007, aired. It deals with evictions and writs of possession and eviction. It is similar to Senate Bill 1448 by Senator Locke. You have a substitute before you, which would conform them to Senator Locke's. Is there a motion to adopt the properly moved, adopt the substitute? Properly moved and seconded that we adopt the substitute. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Okay. This now is identical to Senator Locke's 1448. Is there a motion? Properly moved and seconded that House Bill 2007 be reported as a substitute. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Record your votes.
Ayes 15, no 0.
All right, thank you. And the next bill is House Bill 2071 by John Bell. It deals with job order contracting. It is similar to Senate Bill 1153 of Blacks. There is a substitute which would conform it to Senate Bill 1153. Properly moved. Does the substitute be adopted? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right. Is there any discussion of the bill now as a substitute identical to Senator Black's? Hearing none. Is there a motion?
Second.
Properly moved and seconded to report House Bill 2071. No further discussion. Record your votes.
Ayes 11, noes 4.
Okay. All right, the next bill is House Bill 2327 of McNamara, dealing with DPOR and unlicensed practice. It is similar to Senate Bill 1751 with 5 amendments. Well, will those 5 amendments conform it? All right. The motion is to adopt the 5 amendments so it will conform. Is there a second?
Second.
All right. Probably moved and second. We adopt those amendments. All in favor say aye. Aye. All right. Then now the question is there any concern or questions about House Bill 2327? Hearing none. Is there a motion?
Second.
Properly moved and seconded that the bill be reported as amended. No further discussion, then record your votes.
Ayes 14, noes 1.
Okay. The next one is House Bill 2352 by Myers. It deals with the real estate board and real estate license. It is identical to Senate Bill 1061 of Senator Mason. Any further discussion? Was there a second?
Second.
Excuse me, wait a minute, it's not identical?
Sorry, Mr. Chairman. The House bill adds an additional section. That section is just one that was missed in the original Senate bill, so we'd like to keep I think we want to keep the House version, but
But it's not identical, but you want to keep, I think you better tell us what that section does that we didn't include.
right. So that section, there is, let me pull it up, sorry.
Welcome.
On behalf of the realtors, it just deals with the death of a broker section, so we'd like to leave that in if we could.
It deals with it. You bury them, or what do you do?
Depends on how they were, right, Mr. Chairman? So at lines 125 through 142, there's a reference of independent contractor. It was just a contract on line 140 that was an incorrect grammar in the existing statute, and all we're doing is correcting that.
Mr. Chairman,
Mason,
Mr. Chairman,
did you leave that out for a reason, or was that just, okay.
Mr. Chairman,
Who's,
Serville.
all right, okay. Get a little more bend on this thing.
Sorry, can that bill go by for just a minute? Because that actually amends a statute I think I passed about 3 years ago. I want to talk to Mr. Dix about it really quick.
Yeah, I'll be happy to show that
Okay.
to Senator Serville.
All right. All right. Senator Evan, what did you say? All right, that's, all right. Next one is House Bill 2541 by Byron. The broadband, dealing with broadband council. It's similar to Senate Bill 1618 of Edwards and Senator Locke's Senate Bill 1444. All right, so we'll just leave that part off. Similar to Edwards 1618, there is a substitute. Will that substitute make them identical?
So the substitute will conform the House bill to the portions of Senator Locke's bill that deal with the broadband council. Senator Locke's bill takes off Senator Locke's bill takes off the portions of the enactment clause on the broadband council that would expire it in 2019 and makes it perpetual. So this would change, the House bill extends it to 2021. This would make it perpetual.
Okay. So did you put out the substitute? All right, is there a motion to adopt the substitute? All right. Are there any questions or any about House Bill 2541? Is there a motion?
Second.
Properly moved and seconded that the substitute for House Bill 2541 be reported. Any further remarks? Any opposition? Record your votes.
Giving you my proxy.
Okay. All right.
Meeting two House bills to get ready for.
Ayes 15, no 0.
Okay. Okay, the next group of bills we have not looked at before, but they are uncontested coming from the House. So if there's anybody in the audience to speak to them, I welcome those comments. House Bill 1660, Delaney. House Bill 1663, Edmonds. I'm assuming that you're coming on 1660. Oh, you're not. You're just walking, passing through. All right. Okay. House Bill 1740. House Bill 1746. House Bill 1773. Aren't there any surrogates in here at all? Which one? 2410, House Bill, bringing attention to House Bill 2410 from Adams, appointment of resident agent by non-resident property owner. Welcome.
Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, Jeff Palmore with Reed Smith on behalf of the Virginia Bar Association. This legislation is a recommendation of the VBA's real estate section. This code section currently requires out-of-state landlords to appoint an agent in Virginia who can be available for service of process, notice, order, or demand on the property owner. This requirement ensures that a Virginian with a dispute against the landlord can seek recourse without having to chase down their landlord in another state. This requirement makes sense when the landlord is an individual, and the bill before you keeps that in place. In many cases, however, the landlord is a corporation, and this requirement that's in this existing code section becomes duplicative because business entities are already required to appoint an agent under Title 13.1, and we've worked with the Virginia Association of Realtors in this with its legislation. So we view this as technical. All of these companies are required to appoint an agent under separate requirements of the code.
Is there anyone here in opposition to House Bill 2410? Is there a motion?
Move the report.
Properly moved and seconded that House Bill 2410 be reported. Record your votes.
Ayes 15, no zero.
Okay.
Thank you.
Do you have another one?
No, sir.
Is anybody else here to represent any of these bills? Yes, sir.
We have people here for Bill 2093.
I'm sorry. 2093?
Yes.
All right. Welcome. Come on up.
Good afternoon, distinguished senators. Mike Riley, the Executive Director of Virginia Department of Fire Programs. This bill really is a cleanup bill. As you all know, the Virginia Fire Services Board is a advisory policy board to the Virginia Department of Fire Programs. It was directed by the Attorney General's Office and the Secretary of the Commonwealth to adjust or redefine two positions. In 2008, the State Fire Marshal's Office was transferred to fire programs, basically starting a conflict of interest. So what we're doing is we're keeping the State Fire Marshal as an advisor to the board and then reappointing a fire marshal who is certified under Title 27, which is a local fire official. The second position is the International Association of Fire Service Instructors, Virginia chapter. That chapter went defunct a couple of years ago, so there is no representation for that committee. So we're changing the definition to be an instructor certified in the Commonwealth of Virginia by the Virginia Department of Fire Programs. So just cleaning up those two definitions.
Is there anyone here in opposition to House Bill 2093?
Move the report. Second.
Properly moved and seconded that House Bill 2093 be reported. Any further conversation? Hearing none. Record your votes.
Thank you, Senators.
Thank you.
Ayes 15, no zero.
All right. Anybody else?
Mr. Chairman,
Senator Mason.
if you want to return to House Bill 2352, Delegate Miaria's bill, after Senator Searle's help, we determined that we did fix the grammatical issue on my substitute before it passed out. So I think we could just conform that to my Senate Bill 1061, sir. And I would so move.
So you moving? Okay.
Chairman.
All right. Is there a second? Second. All right. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Record your votes. Okay.
Ayes 15, no zero.
Okay. Thank you. That bill is reported. Patrick, did you have something you want to cover?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, I think I could probably handle House Bill 2198, Delegate Gilbert's bill. I represent the American Institute of Architects, the American Council of Engineering Companies. You do have House Bill 2198 on the docket?
Yep.
Okay, good. The bill came out of the House 96-0, so it should be one in the uncontested list. What the bill does is it fixes two drafting errors from prior sessions. The first thing it does is fix an error from the 2013 session from House Bill 2079, which was carried by Delegate Chris Jones. It was a major rewrite of portions of the Procurement Act. And in that rewrite in 2013, there was a cross-reference that wasn't updated correctly. The end result was that localities would be able to opt out of the process for competitive negotiation for professional services, something that was not intended at the time. We've worked with all the stakeholders, and I think those who were involved in the study would agree that this was a drafting oversight. The second thing it does is fixes an oversight from the 2018 session, House Bill 97, carried by Delegate John Bell. There was a change in the threshold for small procurements, where certain procurements under a dollar threshold, at the time it was $60,000 for professional services, would not have to go through the full competitive negotiation process. That was increased to $80,000, but a cross-reference in one of the code sections was not made accordingly, so we've fixed that in this bill. With that, we would urge your support.
Okay. Is there anyone here in opposition to House Bill 2198?
Move to report. Second.
Properly moved and seconded, the bill will be reported. Any further conversation? Hearing none, record your votes.
Ayes 15, no zero.
Okay. Is there anyone else? Okay.
Chip Dix on behalf of the Realtors. This is House Bill 1660.
Okay.
This was unanimous in the House, and basically what this does is deal with renters insurance. And in a circumstance where the landlord does not require the tenants to have renters insurance, what this does is to say that the landlord will provide a notice that says, hey, you should get renters insurance, and then also that any renters insurance coverage, like homeowners coverage or anything else, doesn't cover FEMA flood issues. And I know of no opposition to this bill.
Okay, we'll find out. Is anybody here in opposition to 1660?
Move to report.
Properly moved and seconded that House Bill 1660 be reported. Any further conversation? Hearing none. Record your votes.
Ayes 15, no zero.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I have one other bill I think I can present. It's House Bill 1923.
House Bill
Delegate Bourne's bill.
1923. Okay.
And what this bill does, as in a substitute form, as it came to you from the House, which was unanimous and built consensus with all the various stakeholders, is in a circumstance where a tenant files a notice against the landlord and that notice doesn't result in the landlord curing the defect. In many cases, it's a housing safety defect. And then the tenant files a tenant's assertion or a counterclaim in an unlawful detainer case and pays the rent into court. Under that circumstance, the court could award reasonable attorney's fees. And again, I'm not aware of any opposition to the bill.
Okay. Is there anyone here in opposition to House Bill 1923?
Move to report.
Second.
Properly moved and seconded that House Bill 1923 be reported. Any further conversation? Hearing none. Record your votes.
Ayes 15, no zero.
Okay, that one is reported. Is there anyone else that wishes to speak on another bill? And I'm sending you back, Brett, because they were contested, and I'm not going to deal with those quite yet. Yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
There is one Delegate Bulliver's bill that was uncontested. That's
Oh,
the
okay,
bill.
all right, I'm sorry.
That's the reference. I'm sorry, sir.
Okay, House Bill 1962.
2762, sir.
I'm sorry. Again.
2762.
Okay, all right.
Mr. Chairman, Brett Vassy, Virginia Manufacturers Association. I'm here on behalf of the Virginia Chemistry Council, VMA, American Chemistry Council, and the Flora Council. This bill came out 99-0 out of the House. I think we have clarity. What this does is it's very simple. Perfluoroalkyl chemistries are used in firefighting foam, particularly the types of foams used in petroleum fires. It's still the very best product to use in live fires, but what we're trying to do in this bill is we restrict it from being used in training. After July 2021, we're giving the local departments an opportunity to switch to fluorine-free foams, but it will still be used in live fires because it's the best. We have consensus on the bill, and we ask that you support it, Mr. Chairman. That's what the bill does.
Is there anyone here in opposition to House Bill 2762? Properly moved and second that 2762 be reported. Any further conversation? Hearing none, record your votes. All right, and that one's done.
Ayes 15, no zero.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman, I'm Will Egan from the Commission on Youth. We have House Bill 1746, and this is to rename the Virginia Initiative for Employment, Not Welfare, to Virginia Initiative for Education and Work. It came out of the House 96-0.
Okay. Is there anyone here in opposition to House Bill 1746? Hearing none. Is there a motion? Properly moved and seconded? Seconded. That House Bill 1746 be reported. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Senator Evan.
What's the bill do? Is it do anything besides change the name?
No, Mr. Chairman, Senator Ebbard, it changes the name, and that is the only thing that the bill does.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman?
Senator, just ask.
Is there a Senate markup on this? If not, we'll have to re-refer to Finance. There is a $150,000 financial impact for the renaming of the organization.
Mr. Chairman, the renaming is out of non-general funds, so that is correct.
I think they were going to use TANF funds on that one.
Yes.
Does that complete your question?
It does. Thank you.
Okay.
Can I ask a question, Mr. Chairman?
No, you already asked one. No, go ahead. No. Go ahead.
I was just curious, what is, what is a $150,000 a change in name? Is that for letterhead, or what is that for?
That is just to change in all the letterhead and anything else. That's my understanding at the very least, Mr. Chairman.
Okay.
All right. Is there any further discussion of House Bill 1746? Is there a motion? Properly moved and seconded that 1746 be reported. Record your votes.
Ayes 13, noes 1, 1 abstention.
All right, that one is reported. All right, do we have any others that somebody wants to speak on? All right.
Mr. Chairman, House Bill 2058, and there is one line amendment that's been agreed to by all the parties. I don't know whether you don't take that.
Is there a line amendment, or is that as a substitute?
It's a substitute.
Is there a motion to adopt the substitute?
Abstention.
Properly moved and seconded that we adopt the substitute. And all in favor say aye. Oh, try it again. All in favor of substitute? That's much better. That's much. All right. Okay.
So, Mr. Chairman, I'm here on behalf of the Circuit Court Clerks on this bill, and what this bill does is to provide the Department of Conservation and Recreation and the Department of General Services with free access to the Circuit Court Clerks' secure remote access system to land records. And the substitute, the difference between the introduced version and the substitute is the substitute simply provides that the state agency will supervise each of their employees that signs a subscriber agreement instead of the clerk trying to supervise the state employees. And that's agreeable to the state and the administration who requested the bill.
Is there anyone in opposition to House Bill 2058? Are the clerks of the court happy too?
The clerks of the court are happy, Mr. Chairman.
All right. Is there a motion? Motion is to adopt, to report the substitute. Any further discussion? Hearing none, record your votes.
Ayes 15, no 0.
All right, that one is dealt with. Is there another one that someone likes?
Chairman, I may have one more that I could assist with. House Bill 2711.
All right, talk very slowly.
House Bill 2711. I'm sorry, am I talking too fast?
Go ahead.
So I believe there's a line amendment to this to clarify that if this deals with a homestead deed, and what happens with homestead deed is that if you own property outside Virginia, then its current law says that where you would record the homestead deed is where the person resides. And so all that this does is to clarify, and I discussed this with Delegate Simon, it clarifies that the residence would be in the Commonwealth of Virginia. Otherwise, you wouldn't know where to file the homestead deed. So that's the only thing that it does.
Brooks, would you report that amendment, please?
On line 16 of the engrossed bill, after city, insert in the Commonwealth.
Okay. Is there a motion on the amendment? Properly moved that the amendment be accepted. All in favor say aye. Other than Mamie, did anybody else want to say aye? Thank you. We're going to delay the vote for just a minute, so.
I understand, sir.
Till Bill can get back in. Megan, did you want to? Did you?
Yeah, House Bill 2726 been discussed, James's bill.
2726? No, go ahead, come on up.
Okay.
All right, let's just steps back. So the motion was to report the bill as amended
Okay.
on 11. All right. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Record your votes.
2711, sorry.
There we go. All right.
Ayes 15, no zero.
Okay. That one is reported. All right. I'm sorry.
Great. Good afternoon. I'm Megan Healy, Chief Workforce Advisor to the Governor. And House Bill 2726 talks about our local workforce boards must write strategic plans around opportunity youth. We just recently did a study about 100,000 youth under age 24, 16, 24 out of work. And so we need to re-engage this population. So we need to be a little bit more strategic about what these, how we engage with the school system when we find out students drop out of the system, and then how can we wrap services around them. So that's what the bill is. It kind of outlines a little bit more, puts a little more meat to the plans that are produced to me as the workforce advisor.
Is there anyone here in opposition to House Bill 2726? Hearing none. Is there a motion? Properly moved and seconded that House Bill 2726 be reported. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Record your votes. All right.
Ayes 15, no zero.
2229.
That was one that came out really quick, uncontested. 2229, Bagby.
Yeah, is there anyone else that wants to represent a bill here? All right, Senator Steph is going to pretend like he's in the House on House Bill 2229.
Sure. All right.
Mr. Chairman, this isn't the first time we've seen wonderful bills like this. This provides that any locality may, by ordinance, provide that the waiver of building permit fees and other local fees associated with construction, renovation, rehabilitation of housing by a private sector entity that is pursuing an affordable housing development. The bill provides that a locality may determine in its ordinance what constitutes affordable housing and may set other conditions on the waiver of fees as it's determined appropriate. This came out of the House 99-0. As far as I know, I don't believe anyone's going to oppose it. And Senator Eben, is here. Never mind. We may have one. I'm not sure. I'm just messing with you, Adam.
Let's see if there's anybody in the audience that is in opposition to House Bill 2229. All right. Was there a discussion? Or was he pulling? Okay. All right. Is there a motion?
Senator Black moved to report.
Properly moved and seconded that House Bill 2229 be reported. Any further conversation? Hearing none. Record your votes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Ayes 15, no zero.
All right. Anybody else want? All right, again.
I'm just
Why don't
looking
you
at your
stay
docket,
up
Mr.
there?
Chairman. This is House Bill 1962, Delegate Bulva's bill.
All right.
And all this bill does is currently, DPOR has the authority to issue a temporary order to cease and desist, but they don't have any authority to, once the cease and desist order is issued, to follow up on it and to require the regulant to take any affirmative action. And I'm not aware of any opposition to the bill. That's all the bill does.
Is there anyone here in opposition to House Bill 1962? Hearing none, is there a motion? Properly moved and seconded that House Bill 1962 be reported. Any further discussion? Hearing none, record your votes.
Ayes 15, no zero.
All right. That one is reported. Any others? Chip, get up. Try it again. All right. I suspect then we better take a few minutes break and see what's happening with the House. Can you get us an update on that? All right, let's see if there are any other folks who come in and might be interested in helping us with any of these bills, and they're in the uncontested docket. Who is going to represent which bill? Myers.
Mr. Chairman, I think I found one.
All right, well, you're too slow. Come on up.
All right, lead on.
Welcome.
Mr. Chairman, my name is Tom Antorcio. I'm the Associate Director with the Virginia Catholic Conference, and I'm here to testify in support of Delegate Miares' HB 1887. And that bill would require the Virginia Alcoholic Beverage Control Authority and the Virginia Employment Commission to post notice of the existence of a human trafficking hotline in government stores and employment offices to alert possible witnesses of victims of human trafficking to the availability of a means to report crimes or gain assistance. And this builds on the work that was done by the General Assembly in the last session with Senate Bill 725, which the governor signed into law. And that legislation provided that hotline posters for sex trafficking be posted in venues like truck stops, rest areas, local departments of health, certain health departments, and facilities. And this just simply adds these two venues, these two locations to the sites where these posters are going to be displayed. And of course, we all know that sex trafficking, human trafficking is a serious problem in the Commonwealth, and we believe that Delegate Miares has taken a good step in making public awareness a priority in this regard, and we ask for your support. Thank you.
Stay there for questions. Is there anyone here in opposition to House Bill 1887? Hearing none. I would ask, are these standard size, one size fits all posters?
I believe so. I've seen them. Images of them. I believe they are standard size posters.
I can understand some of the locations, but I'm not quite sure I understand the ABC store.
Yeah, I think the rationale there is that they do a lot of they have a lot of business, obviously, and of course alcohol and some other activities, that you can imagine, probably correspond to one another there, and so I think that's just an effort to reach people where they most frequently traffic establishments, and so it's just another venue for these posters to be posted to alert people to the resources that are available to let victims get relief.
If it is a store that does not have much wall space, is there any kind of exemption?
Pardon me, sir?
If it is a store, ABC store that has limited wall space, is there any kind of exemption?
And there again, I'm not here as a surrogate on behalf of Delegate Miares, so I couldn't answer that question for you.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna.
Where can I?
I understand the goal, but I'm not 100% sure that I totally agree with ABC stores being the right place to do that. But anyway, are there any further questions or
Mr.
comments?
Chairman?
Yes.
And I mean, I'm all for preventing human trafficking. I used to chair our commission on the prevention of human trafficking, but I was just wondering also with locations. I could see ABC stores actually, but the Employment Commission, I don't know if we're expecting people being trafficked to be seeking unemployment benefits. I don't know if there's, it's just kind of an open-ended question.
At this point, I think we just better hold this one until the patron gets here. Thank you for trying.
Okay,
I think
thank you,
there's
Mr.
a
Chairman.
couple of loose ends that we're concerned about. Okay, Chip.
Mr. Chairman, House Bill 2694.
Okay.
This is Delegate Cole's bill, and it simply says that a condo association or property owners association can send a notice by email if the member has agreed to receive notices by email, and then if the email comes back undelivered, then in that case it has to be sent by regular mail. I don't believe there's any opposition to that.
So, is there anyone here in opposition to House Bill 2694? Hearing none. Is there
Mr. Chairman, can I ask a quick question?
Certainly.
If it comes back undeliverable, what if it just ends up in a spam folder and nobody ever knew they got it?
So, Mr. Chairman, if the member themselves, Mr. Chairman, if the member themselves has agreed to receive email and provided an email address to the association, then the association can use that email address. And assumedly, the recipient and the member has made it so that the association email would not go in the spam folder.
Fair enough. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Any further questions? Is there a motion? Properly moved and seconded. Any further discussion? If not, record your votes.
Mr. Chairman,
Wait, hold on. Stop.
I'm sorry.
Who is?
Surville.
Serval. Okay, thank you. A
Somebody
little
said,
more bend on this table.
I'm sorry. Sorry, a question for Mr. Dick.
Certainly.
Somebody said homeowners association, so it got my attention.
I figured otherwise you might not be paying attention, Mr. Chairman.
So can notice be sent by email right now?
Mr. Chairman, I'd say to Senator Servell, the answer is no, it could not be, but since Delegate Cole is here, I'll let him respond to those questions.
Would you repeat the question for Delegate Cole?
Sorry. Delegate Cole, Surville.
Yep.
My question was, can notices of hearings or whatever, homeowner associations right now today be sent by email?
My understanding is that they're supposed to be sent by mail, and that the bill, what it would do is allow people to opt in to receive email notification if they so choose.
Okay. Further question, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, further question?
Yes.
Sorry. So right now, email is not allowed. And I mean, does anybody have any concern that emails can go into spam folders? Emails could, like, I've had emails just not even get delivered where somebody said they sent me one, then trying to figure out whether they sent it or not or whether it got returned or not. There's no way to figure out what really happened. I mean, is there any concern like that amongst associations?
There is a provision in there. If the sender gets an indication that it was not delivered, then they would have to send the mail. But this is something that most other organizations allow is electronic notification. You'd have to opt into it. So I think it would be, if you're opting into it, you bear some responsibility to check your spam folder, and if it's in there, then you say, hey, that's not spam. But there is a provision in the bill that if they get a bounce back or delivery failure message, then they would have to deliver it via mail.
Right, Mr. Chairman. Speaking to the bill.
Continuing.
So the only thing I'd say, and I mean, I in concept, things like this always sound interesting and easy, and people say they get emails for all kinds of things. In the last 12 months, I've probably had 3 or 4 incidents where I've sent emails from my law firm to another law firm, and my emails just never showed up. They got caught in some spam blocker, not in my spam folder, but by some spam blocker, or not even received. I mean, I was trying to get copies of a bill draft from DLS this year about a month ago, and DLS couldn't send me the email. It kept vanishing, or it was like a ghost email. And one of the issues that really concerns me when you're dealing with property owners associations is, there's some pretty significant things that can happen to you with regard to your home that homeowners associations have a lot of control over. And they're like miniature governments, and we don't really let the government communicate with constituents by email. They typically require mail or some kind of formal service on your house, and that's why we require paper for HOAs. And so that's what really gives me concern about opening the door to email on this. So and I think in concept, to a lot of people it sounds simple, but I think what worries me is whether it'll work.
If I may respond, Mr. Chairman, I would say that most individuals do not have, businesses tend to have corporate filters that are designed to try to filter out spam before it gets to the individual. Most individual accounts, which is what most of these would be going to, do not have multi-layers of filters that might catch something like this.
Mr. Chairman.
Continue.
Sorry, trying to go through you, Mr. Chairman. Speaking to the bill, that's if they choose to use their personal email account as the one they receive it at. But if they're like my father, who doesn't have a Gmail, he's got some crappy AOL, and he wants all of his email to go to his law firm email address because he's 74 years old and that's what he wants, it might get caught by the corporate spam filter. So we can assume that people are going to behave certain ways, but in my experience as a lawyer, people behave all kinds of crazy ways we don't even imagine until we find out there's a problem. So that's the kind of thing that worries me about this.
Well, I'd just say, if I may, that, it's up to the individual to opt into this. And again, I think there's some responsibility if you opt into it. I mean, you could say the same thing about snail mail. Snail mail gets lost or delivered late, it's not unusual. I think this is a good bill to try to bring the law into the 21st century regarding notices for HOAs. And it was requested by an HOA, so, it costs them a lot of money to do mailings and things, and they just want to give their members, a lot of their members have asked to just say, hey, inform me by email, don't bother sending mail, and they can't do it.
I think we understand the issue at this point. Is there anyone here in opposition to House Bill 2694? I thought Chip was going to, after getting represented, he was going to speak against it. Is there a motion?
Move to report.
Properly moved and seconded that House Bill 2694 be reported. Any further discussion? Hearing none, record your votes.
Ayes 13, noes 1, 1 abstention.
Okay. Thank you. Senator Edmonds. Delegate Edmonds. I'm planning for the future.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have today for you consideration House Bill 1663. And just a short genesis of the bill. We have in the Halifax County Fair, we actually have Ruritan clubs and fire departments who actually have booths at the fair. And they were finding that part of the requirements for the health department were to have them have a certified food manager on site for the entirety of the fair. And so, Mr. Chairman, all House Bill 1663 does, and I worked with the health department to come up with this bill. So it clarifies the definitions of a certified food protection manager, what they are, and their duties. That's on line 33 and through 35. And rather than exempt all nonprofits, we thought it'd be better to simply add volunteer fire departments and what could be defined as a civic club, such as a Ruritan club, to the list of exemptions from having a serve safe manager on hand. That's lines 100 through 102. So, Mr. Chairman, that's all the bill does.
Okay. Thank you. Is there anyone here in opposition to House Bill 1663? Hearing none. Is there a motion? Properly moved and seconded to be reported. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Record your votes.
Ayes 15, no 0.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Delegate Bell. Welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is House Bill 1740. The bill amends code section to retain the exemption for adult protective services and adult services currently allowed in the Government Data Collection and Dissemination Practices Act, but it would change the agency with responsibility from the Department of Social Services to the Department for Aging and Rehabilitative Services, while clarifying that the auxiliary grant program is included in this exemption. These programs are currently exempt, Mr. Chairman. However, the programs were transferred from DSS to DARS in 2013. In addition, the data collection system was changed to a DARS-operated system in 2018. The code doesn't reflect this change, and this proposal clarifies where these programs and data collection systems are now housed.
Any questions of the patrons? Is there anyone here in opposition to House Bill 1740? Is there a motion? Properly moved and seconded that House Bill 1740 be reported. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Record your votes.
Ayes 15, no 0.
And that one is reported.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Let's see. Byron. We have dealt with some of these, so I'm trying to get through them. All right, Delegate Peace, Delegate Delaney, Delegate Bell, Delegate Reed, Delegate McNamara. All right, welcome.
Thank you, sir.
What's the bill number?
This is House Bill 2647.
Okay.
This is a bill that will change part of the code relating to the Condominium Act for the state of Virginia. And the purpose behind this bill is to make it so that the process for multiple unit owners will be able to actually empower a particular unit owner with the authority to vote on their behalf, because there have been situations where there have been condo associations who have not been able to establish a quorum, and this is a way that will allow multiple unit owners of a single unit to actually provide authority to a single unit owner so that they can then vote on their behalf, and the condo association will be able to conduct the business of the association.
Questions of the patron? Hearing none. Is there anyone here in opposition to House Bill 2647? Hearing none. Is there a motion? Properly moved and seconded that House Bill 2647 be reported. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Record your votes.
Ayes 14, noes 1.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, committee.
Thank you. All right. McNamara, Mullen, and McNamara. Okay. Welcome.
Do 2327?
2327. I'm sorry, you're too late. That's already
Too
passed.
late? It's already passed? This is easy. Did it pass?
It passed.
Oh, good. You want to do 2328? Do you want me here for that one?
I think you need to speak on that one.
Thank you very much for the opportunity to speak with you. The House Bill 2328 just essentially tries to tighten up a little loophole in the public procurement code whereby a business, a small business, receives a contract or an order based on a priority type of classification. That's the reason why they were selected for that procurement. That business can then not subcontract that procurement order to another company that does not fit the same criteria that they fit, which has allowed them to get the order in the first place.
Okay. Fairly simple.
Any question?
All right. Is there anyone, questions of the patron? Is there anyone here in opposition to House Bill 2328? Hearing none. Is there a motion?
Move to report. Second.
Properly moved and seconded that House Bill 2328 be reported. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Record your votes. All right.
Thank you, Senators.
Thank you. All right. Delaney, Bell, Mullen, Simon, welcome.
Hello, Senator. Could we have HB 1773 first?
Yes. Welcome.
Thank you, sir. So we had a little incident in Newport News, which is usually how bills and like this come about. We had a gentleman who was not being as upfront as you should be with your pawnbroker's license, had his license removed, and then found that the definition of person in the code allows you to just incorporate yourself as an LLC and go back and get a pawnbroking license, even though you'd already lost it yourself individually. So what this bill does is just define person under the pawnbroking licensure statute as being a natural person, so that you can't just hop around from one different type of business entity to another, continuing to be a less than scrupulous actor in the pawnbroking business.
Okay. Any questions of the patron? Is there anyone here in opposition to House Bill 1773? Properly moved and seconded that bill be reported. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Record your votes.
Ayes 15, no zero.
All right, that one is reported.
Thank you, Senator. I also have House Bill 1774, and I understand that there is a line amendment.
We're not going to deal with that one quite yet because there was, but when I'm doing that in the next section.
Yes, sir.
All right. Delaney, Bell, Simon, Herring, McQueen. Come on up.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman and members of the committee.
Welcome.
Okay, thank you. Yes, House Bill 2238. This bill amends and defines new category of previously unidentified cemeteries to the code section, which addresses removal of the cemetery. And it came about, removal of remains. It came about as a result of some cemeteries just popping up that may have been, I guess that previously they have been known as abandoned cemeteries, but they were owned during a period of time when I guess enslaved Africans were buried and individuals who really didn't have any rights. And so we wanted to put this in the code as rather than abandoned, but previously unidentified cemeteries and giving them the same right as other cemeteries that are identified in the code. And there's no fiscal impact to it.
Is there any questions of the patron? Is there anyone here in opposition to House Bill 2238? Is there a motion?
Second.
Properly moved and seconded that House Bill 2238 be reported. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Record your votes.
Thank you,
Ayes
Mr.
15,
Chairman.
no zero.
All right. Thank you. Have a great evening.
All right. All right. Delaney, Bell, Simon, Herring, Yancey. All right. That's as far as my screen goes. Come on up. No.
I'm going to present a bill next door real quick.
Okay.
I've got a couple of proxies.
Okay. All right. Well,
Is this an easy one? Or?
I'm not going to take any of the three controversial ones yet.
Mine is in the Common Interest Communities area, and it is HB 2081.
2081.
And as you may recall, when the Common Interest Community Board was set up to make sure that you had better regulation and a good education program, this was about a decade ago, and they honestly weren't quite sure about what all that was going to cost. So what this bill does is it addresses the issue of two issues. One, that it is the amount that has been collected by the annual fee is in excess of what is really required. and that the annual fee, as you will see, as it's repeated several places in the bill, starting on line 19 through 25, you will see how complex it is. It's got all of these percentages of and da-da-da, and what is happening besides the complexity for the associations, we're actually losing staff time because they go ahead and recalculate it, send a check back for $5 perhaps. And so what this bill does then, it replaces that complexity with what you see at the end and says that the annual fee will be determined by the board, and the board shall revise the fees levied by it for placement in the fund so that the fees are sufficient but not excessive. This is language that is used elsewhere in the code. And then also the House amendment says that if the fee is over $25, then you need to look at perhaps size of association so that, again, you have a gradient in it. But at this point, there's really no need to even be thinking in those terms. But if it happens in the future, the board tends to set their fees by size.
Any questions of the patron? Is there anyone here in opposition to House Bill 2081? Hearing none, is there a motion? Properly moved and second, the bill be reported. Any further discussion? Hearing none, record your votes. Okay.
Ayes 15, no zero.
That one is reported.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Members.
Delegate Jones.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. I have House Bill 2133 for you this afternoon.
All right, welcome.
Thank you. House Bill 2133 is on behalf of the Virginia Department of Emergency Management. It combines 12 annual reports that they already submit into one Uber report that will be submitted annually on November 1st of each year. This will reduce redundancy and increase efficiency for their reporting requirements. This will go to the Senate Committee on Finance, Senate Courts, House Committee on Appropriations, House Committee on Military Police and Public Safety, and the Secretary of Public Safety every November 1st.
Okay. Any questions of the patron? Is there anyone here in opposition to House Bill 2133? Hearing none, is there a motion? Properly moved and seconded that House Bill 2133 be reported. Any further conversation? Hearing none, record your votes.
Ayes 15, no zero.
All right.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee.
Senator Adams, are you just hanging around for the fun of it? We've already passed both your bills. Yes. Okay. All right. Did you have another one?
I did, Mr. Chair. You said I was in a separate block.
Oh, that's right. It's, let me run through these and make sure. Is any other delegates here?
There are no other delegates in the room.
All right, you're up. Come on up.
It's like being picked last in kickball. Mr. Chair, this is HB 1774. What this bill is, once again, there was a problem that we had in Newport News where actually more than one pawnbroking shop, of which we have quite a few in the city, was accepting unexpired driver's licenses. The code section currently says that when you're checking somebody's license, all you have to do is check a license. It doesn't specify that it be yours and unexpired. And so what this says is that it must be an unexpired license.
Okay. All right. Any questions of the patron?
I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman. There is one line amendment from Legislative Services.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The amendment is on line 30 after bearing the insert current.
Properly moved and seconded to adopt the amendment. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Okay. Is there a motion? Properly moved and seconded, the bill be reported as amended. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Record your votes.
Ayes 15, no zero.
All right, that one is reported.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Always good to see you.
All right. Any other patrons come in? You got them? Okay. They think it's more entertaining out there in the hall than it is here, so. What? You're turning on me.
Nancy Fowler. Yeah, got one for Fowler. We started on that one and gave up.
Welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I apologize for the delay. We're just running back from Senate Conference and Labor. So, have before you House Bill 1966 in regards to permits. And Mr. Chairman, just wanted to see if your staff was aware of some additional amending language to the bill. If not, I can offer a line amendment.
There are two amendments that we're expecting. Is those the ones, or?
There's two? Yes.
All right. You want to report those?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The First Amendment, line 39, the engrossed bill after appeals, insert, with the exception of the levy imposed pursuant to Section 36-137, any fees levied pursuant to this subsection shall be used only to support the functions of the local building department. And then the second line amendment on line 88 of the engrossed bill, after locality, strike the remainder of line 88 and insert, with the exception of the levy imposed pursuant to Section 36-137, any.
All right. Is there a motion to adopt those amendments? Is there a second? Second. Properly moved and second, those amendments be adopted. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Okay. Hit it.
Mr. Chairman, simply put, what this bill seeks to achieve, and I can get into detail if you'd like on the amendments, but suffice enough to say what this bill does is it clarifies language in the code in regards to permitting process. So whether you're a large manufacturer working with a large contractor or you're a home builder, one of the challenges that we're hearing from on economic development opportunities is a permit process will run into some issue which requires additional work, only to go back to the beginning all over again, and sometimes delaying projects as much 6, 7, 8 months. So what this bill simply does is, at the permit process as you're moving along, if there's a reason why you have to go back and work on the permit, you pause at that point, then you bring back to the building department what needs to be done, and then your bill goes through. The second part is that for fees associated with these buildings will stay within the building department, language that was added by the building department association or the building code section of people. And what that'll do is guarantee that the financial resources are there in the building code section to guarantee that the resources they need or the personnel they need, whether they're going out and doing inspections or doing the review process, that they have what they need is necessary to be able to provide an expedited process of the reviews. And that's what the bill seeks to achieve, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Is there anyone here in opposition to House Bill 1966?
Move to report.
Properly moved and seconded, the bill be reported as amended. Any further discussion? Hearing none, record your votes.
Ayes 15, no 0.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, members.
Right. Welcome. You? Oh, I'm sorry. There are two of you. Y'all fight it out and then tell us who does first. Welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the subcommittee. I'm here for House Bill 2161. This bill passed the House of Delegates unanimously and has the support of Prince William Chamber of Commerce, and Department of General Services has no problem with the language in the bill and says it's feasible. What this bill does is says that any state surplus property, such as desk, computers, chairs that the state no longer needs, what usually happens is that it's purchased or transferred to nonprofits, donated to other government entities, or transferred to public TV stations or donated to schools or sold between properties. What my bill does is add service-disabled veterans as an entity that has preference to purchase these items before they're sold on public auction. The service-disabled veteran is defined as a veteran who has served on active duty in the United States military, ground, naval, or air service, was discharged or released under conditions other than dishonorable, and has a service-connected disability rating fixed by the United States Department of Veteran Affairs, face a harder time, and these individuals face a harder time than most in starting and maintaining their own business. So that's what my bill does. I ask for you to pass the bill.
Okay, thank you. Any questions of the patron? Is there anyone here in opposition to House Bill 2161? Properly moved and seconded, House Bill 2161 be reported. Any further conversation? Hearing none, record your votes.
Ayes 15, no zero.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. All right. I'm going to put some posters up. Now, what was who asked? You asked the question. Well, yes, okay. I think it was fairly well represented, and my question was: is it going to be a standard size poster?
My understanding is it is at the discretion of the Virginia Alcohol Beverage and Control Authority and the Virginia Employment Commission. We don't dictate to them the actual size, and this is very similar to. This is based on what was just passed last year in North Carolina, as where the origins of this came from. Just what other states. It was one of the policy magazines we sometimes get about what other states are doing to combat human trafficking, in North Carolina had just passed this measure. So we kind of looked at what North Carolina did. My understanding is California, Texas, and Oregon also have a very similar laws on the books.
Is there any exemption if there may not be space in wall space that could be used?
No, but there's no exemption language as far as I know. But this does not apply. The amendment. We amended the bill below, so it would not apply to distilleries. So it only applies to ABC stores and obviously Employment Commission. And I'm fairly confident they would be able to find space that'd be in compliance. I think we've written it broad enough so we don't dictate a certain size, and that I'm sure in the square footage space they'd be able to post some place that has this information, Mr. Chairman.
I think I went into the Clarksville ABC store one time, and it is an old building that has a recessed glass front, and I don't remember any space there where they could actually put something. And maybe they could stick it up on the wall in the back where nobody would see it. But does this prevent them from finding the right space, whatever size it may be, wherever it may be in the building?
No, it is that broad. I mean, I would almost say like an indulgent committee. I would almost say just to be posted. It could be a placard that they have, even smaller than that, perhaps posted near the cashier. Would be my argument. They'd be in compliance. I've not been in that unique ABC store. I have frequented some others, and there is more than enough white space.
In some of the older ones, they are very limited in space.
I understand.
I would let you know that. Any other questions? Didn't you have one, Mike? Oh, somebody did. Okay. Is there a motion? Properly moved and seconded that House Bill 1887 be, that's not the right number. Yeah, it is. 1887 be reported. Any further conversation? Hearing none, record your votes.
Ayes 15, no zero.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Okay. Hello, buddy, come on out.
Senator. Good to see you. I've heard that of course, the Senate has always had a reputation for kindness, so I think perhaps maybe one bill has already been reported, or?
That's correct.
The War Memorial, okay. It's, all right, the final bill I have, you know, is, Mr. Chairman, it has to do with the Virginia Procurement Act, and and what the bill simply does is removes the requirement for a newspaper publication of requests for proposals for professional services. And, of course, this is supported by Department of General Services. And again, it would put RFPs in the same posture as invitations for bids, which have never been required newspaper publication. Obviously, ads can be costly and add up, you know, over the course of the year. And of course, most importantly, the vendors that are affected here aren't relying on newspaper ads to identify opportunities or routinely check the local websites, including the EVA, which is again a part of the requirements of the bill. And so again, it doesn't prohibit it. Newspaper ads are still an option, Mr. Chairman, but just not a mandate. So again, that essentially is House Bill 1629.
So they would have to either go on EVA or do the local paper.
Actually, I have the, I think, General Services here with maybe some more specific questions, but I think that's correct.
Yes, sir, that's correct.
Yeah.
Standard Bill DGS,
Mm-hmm.
as amended, the bill will allow the locality to either continue advertising in the newspaper.
Yep. Very good. That's it.
Are there any questions of patron? Is there a motion? Properly moved and seconded that House Bill 1629 be reported. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Record your votes.
Ayes 15, no zero.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. Appreciate your time. See you later, Senator. Yep.
On the last bill,
She's just leaving now, so I don't have to worry about it yet.
okay, all right, so we have we got everything done now? Okay, that completes our docket. Thank you all.